Hello everyone. Welcome to another rapid speedrun game against Chaturanga 975 rated 1558. A nice, well-informed opponent who plays e5. And then, oh wait, we're supposed to play the Scotch Gambit. So let's play d4 and bishop c4. And we've seen this on our speedruns. We kick the knight. He plays d5, the theoretical move. We move our bishop because it's hanging. He jumps his knight in the center to save it. Fine. Now we can take the central pawn, pressuring and threatening to win material. He'll defend. Okay. And now by him defending, he's threatening to win our pawn. So we're going to take that knight. If we take with the knight, we'll take with the pawn. If we take with this, we'll take with the pawn. Let's give up our bishop. Leave our knight in the center. Okay, he takes back with the bishop. Do we want to take that? Maybe. Okay, let's take that. It's just a bunch of mass trades, but this kind of messes up his structure a little bit. The thing is, he's going to have a C and D pawn running up the board. We're going to have an F and E pawn that we can try. Okay, so he has this knight in the center. We don't have anything out. We want to castle, we want to develop, we want to play F4. In which order? He has this coming. So F4, definitely not that one. If we castle first and he attacks our pawn, and then F4, he's setting up for some fork ideas. Maybe we attack the knight first. Maybe even here, because otherwise if he takes, messes up our structure. Let's go here. Maybe there was also F3 that I should have considered, but then queen check and puzzle rush tactics, so no. Okay, so we'll go for this version. We'll take him if he lets us, because then he has isolated pawns if this pawn moves. And that's good for us structurally, long term. Okay, he doesn't take, which means we get to take, right? Okay, he instantly captures, but I feel like his structure is worse than ours. We each have a pawn on the opposite. That's weird. Okay, he's offering the queen trade. Since we have the better structure, the long-term advantage, maybe it makes logical sense to go for that. He does have a lead in development. Well, what are our alternatives? Do we have a good queen move? Well, this one comes with a double threat. So that's also a logical move because double threats are strong. If he lifts his queen and attacks our king, maybe we can just castle or bishop e something. Okay, so maybe we avoid the queen trade just because he has a bunch of weaknesses. And these aren't even the weaknesses I was referring to. I was referring to these as long-term weaknesses, but I guess these are short-term, immediate weaknesses. Because he's not castled yet and they're not protected. So although I'm lacking a little development, okay, his bishop, I mean, it's not really going to conquer the world on its own, so. I imagine once we castle and go bishop somewhere, rook d1, we just have to be better. Now, are we going to get a chance to get all those moves in? Well, that's up to black to try to prevent us. So he goes directly for a queen trade, which is crazy because I just avoided it. So I'm not going to go for it now. And also, what about all the stuff that's hanging? What? So what about taking here? I'm threatening a rook. That seems pretty serious, right? His queen? Okay, it can stop us from castling, but it's still not coordinating. And if we take this guy, well, that also comes with a threat, a big threat. But if I go here and he just, I don't know, he protects this or something. Yeah, and then he's ready to castle and not so good. I'm going to take this one. I need to mess this up. Now his king has nowhere to go. And now he just has tons of isolated pawns. Because this pawn's here, I'm going to consider that these two pawns are actually both isolated, even though they're next to each other. So in my mind, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 isolated pawn islands. Why? Because if he ever pushes the en passant, this guy's still loose. So he moves his king, which protects his rook, but clearly weakens the positioning of his king, runs directly into Tempe, moves. So developing for free can't be bad. So let's do that. This also gives us the long castle or rook d1 option for free if he goes that way. Now, I'm not into long castling here, just because short castling looks a lot safer, but maybe not. His rook can go here. His rook can also go here. Hard to say. I mean, I think it's relatively safe in both directions, but since his queen has access this way, maybe the other way, but it's hard to say. In any case, your king's not in danger. His king's in danger. And instead of moving back to e8 and losing the rook, he goes forward, but this allows us to give this check, forcing him to go to the left, which is disadvantageous because then for him, because then we get in free rook development. Now, should we long castle or just rook d1? I'm going to long castle as it connects my rooks and is more powerful. Now he goes back, but that hangs the rook. He had to maybe, I don't know, hang a piece instead. He goes back with the bishop, trying to save the game, but I think bishop h6 hits it twice. He can't defend it twice with his queen because it's on the light square, but if he lifts his king up, then he does have two pieces. That's a very clever way. It's actually defended 3 times in that scenario. Very funny. However, that just forces trades for us when we're up 6 points of material. So we go for it. He does find it, but we take with check. Okay, what? That's just checkmate. Okay. He has 7 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock. Don't pick 10 minutes if you're going to auto move just to lose the game, right? Now, if you auto move and you're just winning and knocking everyone out of the park, fine. At least say, well, my record is 100-0, so I could do what I want. But that's not the case. If you're just going to lose, take more time to think. Anyway, okay, this guy's a couple blunders. We have 1 inaccuracy, 10 center pawn, 97%. So essentially perfect game. Let's go through it. So we get the Scotch Gambit. So it starts with development and center for free. Center and development for free. Development in king safety and center. Improving our position for free. Displacing his knight or attempting to. But he knows the best move. I think this is the first time someone actually played d5 and didn't move their knight to some square. So this is nice to see that we get some type of theory. We avoid the trade, pin the knight, which re-threatens a couple of things. So it's a very tactical situation. The Scotch Gambit often can be. Now he jumps into the center, and we take back our pawn. Free stuff. Materials even. We have a little bit of pressure. This pawn, which may or may not be overextended. He has a knight which may or may not be well placed and kickable, right? So it's just, there's stuff going on for both sides. It's just who knows the ideas better right now. Okay, he defends. And now we defend against his threat. So let's say force move. He takes, let's say a nice trade because we're getting the bishop pair away from him. And now they're saying this is my 1 inaccuracy of the game. They're saying the most accurate, and this is where I was deliberating what I should do. They're saying the most accurate is castle. We went for the knight thing first. They're saying this that gives him this one opportunity to go here with a double threat. That's interesting. How does the computer react? So we castle, he takes this pawn, and we just get crazy development probably. Knight here, free tempo, I don't know, queen d6, rook over. Yeah, it's not such a thrilling position for black. He can easily go wrong. Of course, if he plays perfectly, he's fine. As in all openings, right? Okay, so it doesn't really matter, but yeah, I guess you could castle. It makes some sense. But we developed, let me turn the lines off, no more inaccuracies, so we take the knight because it's the strongest, most active piece coordinating in our position, and because it completely ruins the pawn structure. And okay, so this is definitely defensible for black. It's just who's going to have the easier time? The guy with 6 pawns like this or the guy with the pawns like this? And I'm even assuming that I'm going to lose this pawn. And I'm also assuming he's going to lose this pawn. Because if he tries to defend it with a pawn, you're en passant. So in my mind, I'm just picturing these two gone. And there's 6 pawns like this and 6 like this. He has 3 pawn islands. We have 2. He has 2 sets of isolated. So I figure I'm going to just have the easier time of it. It's not easy to defend those perfectly as black. So what's the best move here? Okay, you could castle and just let him queen trade and develop your rook. If you could develop your bishop and same thing. It's really funny they don't list my move. Because it is a double threat. I mean, it's still all equal. They want him to go down the line that I had calculated with queen d4, attacking the king. So queen d4, I mean, it's still equal. It's not like anything big. Okay, if you go bishop b3, he takes this. Then you're going to have to castle, so there's no point. Queen g3 protects, and maintains. That looks pretty good. I mean, yeah, so it's just playable for both sides still. It's just another move you can make. So yeah, you could castle and build up your position. We go for building up our position for free, and then forcing him to kind of try to find an only move. He doesn't find it and immediately loses the game. So it's completely even, trying to get him to find an only move. And then he does some really weird, dumb move that doesn't make any sense because it loses all activity on these squares. And that was a huge asset of black's position, was the queen's ability to use this file for activity. And now he's also hanging everything, so it really doesn't make sense. Okay, and taking the rook pawn is just the best. So we do that, and then it becomes +9 because we develop for free, improve for free, castle for free, mate in 6, mate in 5, mate in 4, mate in 3. Wait, so this was a mate. I just thought I was trading. I didn't even calculate the mate. So here, I thought he was going to take, and I really was just going to take back and say, well, I'm obviously just winning up everything. But if he takes, you do have this check. Then he has to go, here. So this is 1, and then you need 2 more moves. 2, here, 3. Okay, so yeah, there was a mate in 3 that I didn't calculate. So to show you that, oops, this, 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 mate in 3. Okay, that was just a little fun to look at right now. But he goes here and makes it mate in 1, which is obviously much easier to see than mate in 3. So, good game by white. Good illustration of Scotch Gambit. I mean, you're going to, at the higher ratings, they are going to know theory. They're going to know d5. They're going to do all of this stuff. They're going to go bishop e7. And then theory is going to actually continue further than this once we get to like 1700, because, at least chess.com anyway, because they actually know this stuff in this specific line. For some reason, some people know about the Scotch Gambit and how to play against it as black pretty well as you climb. But at the lower ranks, they have no idea, and it's just a bunch of tactics and free wins. So good luck in your chess. Submit your rapid games. Goodbye.